going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So the NFL season is finally here. Kicks off this Thursday with an amazing AFC playoff rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Chiefs coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, obviously looking for that three-peat. We have our first Friday night season opening game as well with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers over there in Brazil. Good Sunday slate as well, capped off with Sunday Night Football, the LA Rams returning to Detroit for that playoff matchup from the wild card round last year. Should be a good one all the way around. And then Monday night, closing out with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers returning at San Francisco for that Monday Night Football game to open the season. Should be a good slate, and it's going to be an exciting season all the way around for the NFL. A lot of different storylines overall that we'll love to talk about throughout this season as a whole. But to kick things off, I'm going to go over my NFL 2024 standing predictions, go through every division, what we think, how it's going to line up in the playoffs, and then go through the playoff predictions as well. And then at the end, my season award winner predictions. So before we do jump into that, if you could hit that like and subscribe button down below for more NFL content throughout the season. Bunch of other stuff on the channel as well. So let's just jump in. We're going to start in the AFC. Going to put the graphic up on the screen. We got the AFC West. I got the Chiefs 14-3, 6-0 in the division. Chargers 5-12, 4-2 in the division. Broncos 4-13, 2-4 in the division, and Raiders 3-14, 0-6 in the division. Now, here's my thing. Chiefs are still, in my opinion, the best team in the National Football League. They still have the best player in the National Football League and the best tight end to ever play the game. Still on the roster, they have an improved receiving corps, probably the best receiving corps that Patrick Mahomes has had in years since Tyreek Hill left. That's why I got them going 14-3. The Chargers, I think, are in a rebuild after Austin Eckler moving on to the Commanders. Obviously, new coach, Jim Harbaugh, coming in. You still got Justin Herbert. Wide receiving core is a little questionable. You know, you got Quentin Johnson from last year. You got Ladd McConkey coming in, building up that offensive line, rebuilding some of that defense. You obviously still have Joey Bosa over there. But I think it's a rebuilding year for the Chargers. The Broncos, I'm not impressed by Bo Nix as your starting quarterback, and I'm not impressed with Sean Payton as your head coach. So that's why I got them right there. And then the Raiders, you know, obviously new coach, Antonio Pierce coming in. Obviously, they have some good pieces. Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers coming in, rookie tight end. And then on defense as well, you got Max Crosby. You know, there's some decent pieces on the roster, but it's a rebuild. You still don't have a quarterback. Gardner Minshew should be slated to start for them, I believe. Not going to be a great year there in Vegas. Next up, the AFC North. I got the Ravens at 13-4, 4-2 in the division. Bengals 11-6, 2-4 in the division. Pittsburgh Steelers 8-9, 3-3 in the division. And the Cleveland Browns 8-9, 3-3 in the division as well. Listen, the Ravens, they just bolstered their roster a little bit, especially on offense, bringing in Derrick Henry. So you have a big-time running back there. Baltimore has unfortunately been plagued by injuries at that running back position through the year, so you hope Derrick Henry and the rest of that running back room can stay healthy. If they do, they could maybe even have a better record than this, given their defense as well. Cincinnati Bengals getting Joe Burrow back to pair him with Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, they're well coached as well, so I think that's why they slide in right there. Pittsburgh Steelers 8-9, 3-3 in the division. This will be the first non-500 or winning season for Mike Tomlin. I don't believe in the two quarterback, you know, between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I'm just not sold on that project yet. Then the Cleveland Browns, I think you have a solid defense, but there's just so many question marks everywhere else across the roster. Mari Cooper can still be a solid receiver for you. Nick Chubb seems like going to miss a little bit of at least the first 4 games of the season, I believe. Just not sold there in Cleveland. AFC East got the Jets at 12-5, 5-1 in the division. Bills 12-5, 3-3 in the division. Dolphins 10-7, 3-3 in the division, and Patriots 3-14, 1-5 in the division. Listen, the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, they have one of the best defenses in the league, and they have dynamic offensive players as well. Obviously, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall. If Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the group can stay healthy, can have a really good year there in New York. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, and this team, this offense is going to look a little bit different, obviously, without Stephon Diggs. Keon Coleman, not just saying it because he's a former Michigan State guy and I got his autograph right above my head outside of the picture right here, but I think he's going to have a pretty good rookie year. Might take a few weeks to get used to some of the different NFL coverages and, you know, stuff like that, but I think overall the Bills will be fine. They'll get to the playoffs. It's for them getting over that Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs hump in the playoffs. At number 3, the Dolphins. I think a slight step back in terms of where you finish in the division, but I think will still be a solid year. They have some pretty tough, obviously, their kryptonite in the playoffs last year, playing in that super cold Arrowhead Stadium. They have some, pretty cold outdoor stadium games towards the second half of the season that I think evens that record out a little bit. But I think they get off to a pretty hot start. Still solid year. The Patriots, obviously you're going with Jacoby Brissett. I think by mid-year it'll be Drake May. That's how these things usually roll. You start the veteran and then you get the rookie young guy in there mid-season to, kind of get him some reps. And the AFC South, closing out the AFC, Houston Texans 10-7, 5-1 in the division. Jacksonville Jaguars 9-9, 3-3 in the division. Indianapolis Colts 7-10, 3-3, and the Tennessee Titans 3-14, 1-5 in the division. Texas, obviously, C.J. Stroud had a really good rookie year last year as well, and they were really well coached under first-year coach there, D'Amico Ryans. And I think they'll have a similar year this year as well, especially adding Stephon Diggs to that offensive room. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Etienne, you got Christian Kirk as well. You got Brian Thomas coming in at the wide receiver room. They just kind of have a really tough schedule and obviously playing in a really tough AFC. So I think that's why I have them right there. The Colts, Anthony Richardson, you hope he can stay healthy this whole year. Jonathan Taylor, you hope he can. With Michael Pittman there as well, I think they can have a decent season. Tennessee Titans, I'm just not sold on the Will Levis project yet. Obviously, losing Derrick Henry, replacing a lot on that team. So we'll need to see some stuff before that projection moves. Moving over to the NFC, I got the Detroit Lions at 12-5, 5-1 in the NFC North. Green Bay Packers 11-6, 4-2. Chicago Bears 8-9, 3-3 in the division, and the Minnesota Vikings 3-14, 0-6 in the division. Listen, the Lions, they returned a lot of the same core from last year's NFC Championship appearance team. I think they'll be even better this year. Obviously, another year in the system for everyone. I think they have a pretty decent schedule there, especially in the middle. So I got them right there. The Green Bay Packers, I think, are going to have a really, really good year. Jordan Love leading the way. Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs on the outside for them. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Chance to push for the playoffs. 8-9, you're right on that cusp of competing for a playoff spot. And then the Minnesota Vikings, with losing Kirk Cousins the offseason, J.J. McCarthy gets hurt in the preseason. You just don't have a quarterback no matter how good Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison are. That's where I have them right now. Over to the NFC West, I have the San Francisco 49ers barely winning the division at 12-5, 4-2 in the division. The Los Angeles Rams I have at 12-5, 4-2 in the division as well. But head-to-head gives them that 1 seed. Seattle Seahawks I got at 9-8, 2-4 in the division, and the Arizona Cardinals 7-10, 2-4 in the division. Listen, the 49ers, if healthy, have probably top 2-3 roster at worst in the NFL. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, if the whole crew and their amazing defense can stay healthy, no reason they won't win 12-plus games, 11-plus games. Again, the LA Rams, super young team. We saw what they could do towards the end of last year, and in the playoffs was right in that to win that game in Detroit in the playoffs. I think they'll have an even better year this year. Hopefully Cooper Kupp stays healthy this whole year. We'll have to figure some stuff out at tight end, though, early in the year with Tyler Higbee missing, I believe, at least the first 4 games. Seattle Seahawks, I think, again, this will sound homerish, but I think Kenneth Walker is going to have his best year here in the NFL. Obviously going into his 3rd season. Just outside of the playoffs, though, Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, full season, hopefully healthy. I think they're going to surprise some people with that James Conner, Trey Benson backfield. Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously coming in as a rookie as well. NFC South, I got the Falcons. Kirk Cousins winning it 12-5, 5-1. Tampa Bay Buccaneers right there, 10-7, 4-2 in the division. Carolina Panthers under first-year head coach Dave Canales. New roster, new field there, 7-10, 1-5, and the New Orleans Saints 6-11, 3-3 in the division. Listen, the Falcons, they finally have an experienced quarterback. First one since really Matt Ryan that has been there that I think can hopefully use all of their weapons on offense. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins, I think will take them to a division win. Tampa Bay Bucks right there on the edge of the playoffs, possibly getting in, but competing again with Baker Mayfield, that defense there. And then Carolina Panthers, as I said, new head coach, new GM, a lot of new around the Panthers, and I think that they'll have a above average or above expectations year there in Carolina. New Orleans Saints, I'm just not sold on Derek Carr and, Alvin Kamara. isn't getting any younger either. Michael Thomas isn't what he used to be. Cameron Jordan is, I believe, 36, 37. Not sold what's going on there in New Orleans. Closing it out, the NFC East, I have the Cowboys, 11-6, 5-1 in the division. Eagles, 11-6, 4-2. The Giants, 5-12, 2-4. And the Commanders, 4-13, 1-5. Listen, the Cowboys and Eagles probably going back and forth all season long. Cowboys barely edging them out due to the division record. But the Eagles with Saquon Barkley coming in there as well. Obviously, the Cowboys figured out the CeeDee Lamb contract, so they'll have their full roster there as well. But they do look a little bit different, especially in the backfield with Zeke Elliott coming back. Just signed Dalvin Cook as well. But the Eagles, Saquon Barkley coming in, still have that amazing wide receiving core of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. The Giants, obviously, Daniel Jones, losing Saquon Barkley. Malik Neighbors really love coming in, and some of the pieces that they added on defense still a ways away from competing. And then same thing with the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels, really love him coming in. Saw him terrorize my Spartans when he was with Arizona State a couple years ago, back in 2019 in Spartan Stadium. And I think he's going to be really good in the NFL as well. Obviously, winning the Heisman last year at LSU. Still ways to go for that roster to compete. Now I'm going to jump into my playoff predictions here. The wild card round, I got the Bills at the Texans. I got the Bills winning that one. Bengals at Jets. I got the Bengals winning that one and advancing. And then Dolphins at Ravens. I have the Ravens winning that one. Then over to the NFC, Rams at Cowboys. Rams winning that one. Packers at Falcons. Packers winning that one. Then Eagles at 49ers. That'll be a really good one. I got the 49ers winning that one. Moving on to the divisional round, Texans at Ravens. I got the Ravens winning that one. And Bengals at Chiefs, rematch from a couple years ago. I got the Chiefs winning that one. Rams at 49ers. I got the Rams winning that one. Packers at Lions. Lions winning that one. Moving on to the conference championship, Ravens at Chiefs. I got the Chiefs advancing to the Super Bowl. And I have the Rams at the Lions, rematch of obviously the first game of this year and rematch of the wild card round from last year. And I got the Rams winning the first game of the year in Detroit this year and winning the conference championship in Detroit this year to get revenge on the Lions. Go to the Super Bowl, back to the Super Bowl for both of these teams, Chiefs and Rams. And I got the Chiefs beating the Rams to get the three-peat. That's right, I'm putting my money on the three-peat. I know that sounds crazy. No one's ever three-peated before, but that's where I got my money on right now. Then briefly, just go over our NFL 2024 season award predictions. Listen, I got MVP Patrick Mahomes. I think this is going to be their best season of the last couple years. Obviously, coming off back-to-back titles, but I think this is going to be their best regular season overall at 14 wins. So pairing that with, I got Patrick Mahomes, plus 450 for MVP. Rookie of the Year, Caleb Williams. Yes, he's the favorite. Patrick is the favorite as well. But Caleb, like I said, I think the Bears are going to surprise some people. I got that at plus 120. Offensive Player of the Year, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is kind of a risky one because of how balanced that Detroit Lions team is. I also thought about Puka Nacua, but Puka Nacua I didn't go with just because if Cooper Kupp is healthy all year, then I think he will steal quite a bit of the receptions from Puka. I think that'll be pretty much 50-50, especially with Tyler Higbee out as well to start the season. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams still trying to prove himself. You got Sam Laporta as well, but I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, with the amount that they'll pass and the consistency that he'll give, I like that value at plus 1,600. Obviously, you have the Tyreeks in there. That would be cool, but I think this was kind of an out-of-the-box one that, especially with the Lions, if they do have the best record or one of the top 2-3 records in the NFC, could get a boost in that voting as well. Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Parsons, plus 550. Dallas is going to have a good defense, and he's the best player on the defensive side over there. And then Coach of the Year, I got Matt LaFleur at plus 1,400. Think Packers are going to have a really good year. Obviously got them making the playoffs and advancing to the divisional round. I think they're going to have a really good year and one of the best offenses in the NFL as well. You put that all in a parlay, plus that big number right there, $5 wins you $100,273.75. Obviously, I'm sure this will change before this video even gets posted, but that's where we're sitting at right now. So that'll do it for this one. Really excited for this NFL season. Look forward to covering it here on the channel as well as we go forward. But thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.